The organs of my body recently had a meeting to discuss the way forward for my total well-being, the various interests of the diverse cells, tissues, and organs, as well as to reach a consensus on the best policies and mission for my safety and progress. Represented were the various constituencies, namely, the organs and important tissues such as the heart, blood vessels, lymph vessels and nodes, the small intestines, the colon and rectum, the stomach and esophagus, the liver, kidneys, pancreas, gallbladder, bones, tendons, cartilages and ligaments, the skin and hair, the eyes, nose, ears, the sexual organs, tongue and mouth, the lungs, legs, arms, tonsils, muscles, and brain. This important meeting was chaired, as always, by the brain, who was the speaker of the assembly, seconded by the heart, and coordinated by the tongue. The first agenda was the desire of the various representatives, to which the eyes were given the floor to start.
The eyes demanded the opportunity to be allowed to see the secret places of Earth, the beautiful areas never seen. It asked for more freedom to see the nudities of men and women, to watch all forbidden and secret activities practiced in the dark. The eyes yearned for everything in the world, including the forbidden allure of explicit scenes, violence-filled spectacles, and the alluring whispers of dangerous adventures.
The eyes claimed they were merely observers, innocent bystanders incapable of tangible harm, yet their proposal sent shivers through the assembly, particularly among the heart and mind, who imagined the effects of eyes' demands, disgrace on being caught and shamed. Friendships faded as trust eroded, with loved ones feeling betrayed and objectified by wandering eyes, making genuine connections impossible. Indeed, the heart reminded the whole assembly how eyes' stealing glances almost led her into being infatuated with someone's wife, bringing disrespect and dishonor to the body.
Further, the hands also recalled how the leg almost got broken from tripping on a stone because eyes were not looking on to guide the body, but was secretly eyeing the beautiful curves of other women.
Next came the tongue, brazen and eloquent.
It argued passionately for unrestricted indulgence in rich, sugary delicacies, fatty treats, alcohol, and exotic cuisines laced with spices and dangerous chemicals. It coyly suggested exploring sexual liberties, advocating especially for adventures such as cunnilingus and other risque practices, promising unparalleled pleasures. Life is short, it reasoned seductively. Why deny ourselves?
Murmurs rippled through the kidneys, colon, and the stomach, who trembled at the thought of ulcers, cancers, and digestive turmoil. The pancreas, quiet and melancholic, interjected with a heartbreaking tale of diabetes, recounting the endless needles, numb feet, and blindness from unchecked sugar indulgence. Objecting to tongue's request, the liver recounted how the effects of the tongue always leave it feverish and weakened. The bones questioned why tongue's interest alone should destroy the whole body when her decisions and actions carried so much weight and burden for the whole body. In reminiscence, the assembly envisioned how tongue's request led to diabetes, kidney failure, and hypertension, turning social gatherings into painful experiences filled with shame and isolation, as obesity and dental decay resulted in relentless bullying and crippling self-esteem issues. The ears, not to be outdone, pleaded dramatically for continuous exposure to gossip, scandal, and sweetly deceptive flattery. They insisted upon soaking in every provocative whisper, every musical debauchery, and the seductive lies that soothed yet poisoned the spirit. The brain, heart, and lungs shuddered at this, understanding the anxiety and stress such relentless noise and gossip would provoke within them. They recounted nights of panic attacks and breathlessness, triggered by stress and anxiety from troubling news overheard by the ears. On one occasion, the ears reported gossip it had heard from another friend, which turned out to be false. Not only did this false news lead the mouth to spread it, causing fear and panic within the community, but it also caused so much hatred and anger in the heart that the blood pressure in the blood vessels shot up, threatening to burst open the blood vessels in the brain and cause strokes. Hands raised their fingers assertively, demanding absolute autonomy to grasp whatever appealed to them, money, pleasure, power, without moral or legal restrictions. They declared boldly that theft, bribery, and corrupt dealings would ensure endless satisfaction. The hands demanded that it be given more holiday time to rest and relax, instead of having to be always working for 6 days a week. The heart skipped beats, envisioning jail cells, the trauma of shame and isolation. The hands paused briefly, reminded by the wrists and tendons of aching arthritis from constant greed and strain, swollen joints and fractures from fights and foolish adventures. The brain reminded the hands of the countless times his misconduct had broken family bonds, betrayed friends, and destroyed community trust, leading to years behind bars and social disgrace. The skin also recalled that whenever hands were free from work, as he is demanding for, he was almost always led into criminal activities that ended the whole body in trouble. Several hands, through their actions and inactions, had led to the death of the whole body. The whole assembly therefore shot down hands' requests and decided on more stricter guidelines to regulate his activities. The legs were then called to make their submissions. Legs stood tall and ambitious, championing absolute freedom to traverse every path, honorable or dishonorable. They dreamt of wandering into forbidden zones, into territories of conflict, crime scenes, nightclubs, dens of temptation, and casinos glittering with ruin. The bones creaked anxiously, envisioning themselves shattered by violence, left incapacitated and forsaken. The ankles and knees recounted harrowing episodes of twisted ligaments fractures from reckless jumps and months of crippling pain and immobility. Legs' ability to run made him proud and careless, leading the body into dangerous areas not agreed on by the other organs and constituents. It therefore became necessary to also regulate the actions of the legs for the sake of the whole body's well-being. Skin, ever sensitive and sensual, passionately begged permission for unfettered experiences of tactile ecstasy. Caresses, bruises from fights, tattoos of questionable symbols, and dangerous piercings that screamed defiance and rebellion. The lymph nodes quivered quietly, foreseeing infections, inflammations, and malignancies. The skin itself confessed with sorrow the memories of burns, infections from careless wounds, and cancers from careless exposure to the merciless sun. Further, the skin's regrettable tattoos and controversial piercings sabotaged career opportunities and professional relationships, leading to lost employment and diminished social standing. The sexual organs, unashamedly bold, asserted their intense desire for libertine adventures, uncontrolled sexual escapades, orgies, infidelity, and experimental relationships devoid of emotional attachments. Variety is the spice of life, they declared arrogantly. But quietly, the kidneys and liver exchanged glances, whispering anxiously of transmitted diseases, antibiotic-resistant infections, and lifelong suffering. The kidneys solemnly recalled excruciating episodes of urinary tract infections and renal failure due to sexually transmitted diseases, the agony of dialysis, and the looming specter of transplant. The other organs reminded the sexual organs of how their actions could lead to the creation of more children that the body was not ready to financially cater for. When other bodies failed to regulate their sexual organs, they ended up in jail for rape, sexually perverse activities, and inability to take care of their children. The rectum and anus shot down the sexual organs' demands, as the increasing perversion of anal and same-sex activities were destroying the health, rectum, and anus of thousands of bodies, leading to leaky anus and untreatable sexual infections. The heart stood up, pointing her fingers at the sexual organs, shouted with a shaking and emotional voice, "Your reckless actions have led to shattered families, traumatized children, and crowded courts with custody battles and divorce hearings, all bitter consequences of unchecked passions and betrayals." Finally, the brain, the speaker himself, acknowledged its susceptibility, confessing humbly to past desires to drown in alcohol, marijuana, opioids, and substances of fleeting euphoria. It lamented its foolish flirtations with adultery, seduction, dishonesty, and intellectual pride. Yet, at what cost? It asked rhetorically, a question hanging painfully unanswered. He recounted tearfully the fog of depression, loss of clarity, dementia from drugs and alcohol, and chronic anxiety born from guilt and regret. Substance abuse spiraled into severe mental health crises, bringing about devastating conditions such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and clinical depression, alienating friends and family alike. Then the heart herself rose, trembling with emotion. "I too," she confessed, "have been reckless and impulsive, chasing fleeting romance, blind infatuations, and forbidden passions that promised happiness but delivered heartache, betrayal, and even danger to the whole body." Her voice quivered as she recalled relationships built on lies, affairs leading to violent confrontations, broken homes, and deep emotional scars. "In my pursuit of false happiness, I dragged every one of you into the depths of sorrow and despair," she admitted sorrowfully. When all submissions were completed and the floor was opened for all the representatives to make their final pitches, an uproar arose from the internal organs, tissues, and silent cells who had suffered long in quiet desperation from the recklessness and selfishness of the external organs.
Scarred and weary, I roar my dissent, reminding the tongue of cirrhosis, hepatitis, and fatty degeneration.
We cough bitterly, recounting our struggles against cancerous invasions caused by reckless indulgences.
We raise our voices, recounting painful nights filled with acid reflux, cancers, and agonizing inflammations.
The internal organs' dissent echoed through the chamber, a stark reminder of the consequences of indulgence and neglect. The heart thundered authoritatively, "Is temporary pleasure worth chronic sorrow, early demise, and spiritual destruction?" The blood vessels nodded vigorously, whispering darkly of hypertension, aneurysms, and deadly strokes. The bones, usually silent, groaned ominously about fractures, arthritis, and debilitating immobility. A hush descended upon the assembly. The brain, humbled by this visceral outcry, called for reflection. It proposed a wiser path, one guided by divine law, the 10 holy commandments given by God Himself, and natural health principles, one that would protect the sanctity of life. "Let us adopt a charter for health and moral well-being," the brain implored earnestly. "For it is not right that the actions of a few of us should throw the whole body into trouble, disease, shame, and despair. Let us be mindful of the effect of our actions on all parts of the body before we engage in them." Thus, after heated debates, emotional revelations, and humble confessions, reason triumphed over selfishness. With heartfelt unanimity, the organs pledged allegiance to the sacred laws encapsulated by the New Start initiative, embracing nutrition, regular exercise, pure water, revitalizing sunshine, disciplined temperance, fresh air, restorative rest and Sabbath observance, and unwavering trust in God. The once contentious assembly dispersed peacefully, unified in the noble purpose of preserving the life and dignity of their collective body. Harmony and wisdom prevailed, illuminating their way forward, promising health, longevity, peace, and spiritual fulfillment.